Hey, I love looking at interesting retail, and I was in San Francisco recently, and was looking actually at a pottery business. And when I got to the pottery business location, or one of their locations in the Mission District, in the front of it was a newsstand, which was absolutely fascinating. And it's run by this same business. It's called the Heath Newsstand, and you step up to it, and you see this Heath Newsstand. Really simple, very straightforward. And so I first of all checked out on their website to get a bit of history about them. And of course, it was started by Edith and Brian Heath, as you can see here, 1948. And they created a really small scale pottery business, which is still thriving today. It's absolutely fantastic. But at the front of the pottery business in this particular area that I was, is this newsstand. Now, we might in Australia call it a news agency, but it's a newsstand. It has some really, really interesting gifts, like fascinating shirts, a range of gift pieces. And then you've got products that are displayed like so simply and so easily in this space that would probably be, I'm thinking around 25 to 30 square meters, a really small amount of space. So as you walk in, you've got these sort of stationary items sitting here on the right-hand side. You've got newspapers over on the left-hand side, really old school timber displays. You've got a range of newspapers there. And then you've got magazines placed around the shop in a way that, again, feels very old school. And across, you can see in that photo, you're heading more into the pottery part of the business. But really, I'm not here today to talk about that. In the newsstand itself, they are displaying magazines in a way that is really gentle, respectful, friendly, very easy to shop. And then mixed in with the magazines, you've also got everyday stationery items. But the magazines they've got have been carefully curated, really thoughtfully put together for the kind of shopper who's going to be seeking out the Heath brand, somebody who really knows what Heath stands for in San Francisco and how strong it is as a brand. They've also got some greeting cards, full-face display of greeting cards. Notice there are no caption indicators or things like that. The cards are just so well displayed, really easy to see, easy to pick up, many, many local designs and local makers. It's the kind of thing, again, where somebody who sought out Heath as a brand is going to be very comfortable making purchases with these products that they've got. The magazines themselves are presented probably, I guess, quite differently to what we're used to seeing, say, in Australia. They're presented well, they're very easy to browse, and they're the kind of magazines that are laid out for the sort of shoppers they're attracting, who are kind of the higher end shopper who's not as concerned about price, and is looking for something interesting, some sort of takeaway from their visit in San Francisco. But, you've got everyday magazines there as well. You've got some Vogue in there. You can see there on that display. And some of the magazines I actually see in Australian news agencies. So there's some similarity and some difference. They've got these beautiful prints that are on display, very easy to purchase, bandanas and things like that. And as I said, they've got also some pretty cool stationery. Higher end stationery, not your everyday stationery, but the kind of stationery that's going to appeal to the shopper that they want to attract. And then as you head around and towards the counter, there's this range of, well, let's start down the bottom. You've got pens and pencils, which you'd expect to see, some erasers and things like that. And then you've got this range of candy and chocolates, which is just fantastic. None of the stuff you would see in a supermarket is there. This is all sort of unique stuff that's going to sell really well in their situation. The Tony's chocolate is fantastic. And we've got that represented in Australia in a bunch of different businesses, including Mass. So I'm not sort of chasing it for my own shops, but it's certainly interesting to see. What I like about Tony's is it stands out so well. It really presents well when you look at it on display. And they've got the Pocky or Pokey product there, the kind of Japanese candy, which again is appealing to particular sort of shopper. None of this is cheap. It's all priced, very much in mind with the type of shopper that they're seeing come into their business. But it's the magazines that sit within the heart of the business that stand out really well. They present well. You've got a really good range there. And, they're, I guess, creating for themselves a destination news outlet, but also doing it in a way to present higher end product. So it's more interesting for the shopper who happens to visit this newsstand as well as going to the pottery shop that's nearby. In the terms of the candy, they've got some really interesting product as well, like this Swedish product, this Swedish candy that they've got here, which is I didn't buy it, so I can't tell you what it's like, but it's just absolutely fascinating. Again, they know who their shopper is, they know who they're trying to reach to sell this product. On their website, when you go and have a look at their website, look up Heath Newsstand, you'll soon find them. On their website, it presents as well as what you see in the shop. It's really cool, very hip, very friendly, very easy to shop. And they've got current issues of magazines on there, and they've got plenty of stationery on there as well. I think what I would say about Heath Newsstand is that it presents externally as a newsstand, but it's not a newsstand in the way that we think of it as being. They've created this newsstand as if it's a kind of business that tourists would be happy to go and visit, would like to go and visit, would want to spend money at. So it's not there for the everyday convenience shopper. It's there for the destination shopper who's going to Heath to look at the station, the pottery that they happen to make and sell, and other items that are kind of in that district. But they're presenting the newsstand in a way that fits very much into that model. We spend a lot of time in retail thinking about what our shoppers will and won't do, and make a lot of assumptions about what shoppers will and won't do. And that sometimes guides us in terms of price points and things like that. I think what Heath are doing is saying, we can attract this higher end shopper, this shopper who's got disposable income. They're happy to spend money. They're less likely to look at price. So let's populate the shop with products that are going to very much fit that sort of shopper. And let's not fit the mindset of what a newsstand should be. Let's create our own version and lean into that in a way that's interesting and exciting. I think they do it really well. I really enjoy the shop. I didn't expect, to be honest, that wasn't my destination. I didn't expect to see it. But when I got there, I spent plenty of time there, and it was really interesting, really fascinating. For me, the takeaways were, first of all, not traditional shop fit, lots of wood and kind of looks like they've made stuff themselves. Secondly, they've gone for color, like the choice of Tony's chocolate and things like that, really clever. And their choice of magazines is very much about the type of shopper they're trying to attract. So the shop is full of intention. They've made intentional decisions about serving a particular type of shopper and making sure that that shopper is going to be satisfied in a visit. And they've put into the shop a range of gifts that will be easily added to the basket, the shirts and things like that, higher price items. And they've got greeting cards so that if somebody actually is going to get the gift, get the greeting card, wrap it up, and then take it somewhere, they've got everything that they need to do that. Really clever, really smart, very small footprint. And it shows how much the world can change and how different the world can be when we think about shingles and what we're supposed to do within, what a traditional shingle like a newsstand business might have to do. I hope it's been interesting. Thanks for watching.